Hi everyone, and welcome back to my channel with a new video about Disgaea. Today I am going to do all the story related battles for the episode 9. I started the episode 9 in the previous video, in which I did Prinny Land, I read Etna's diary, I spoke to everyone, so now I just have to go to talk to the gatekeeper and start all the battles. Here I am just showing you the level and equipment of all my characters. As you can see, it's much higher than what it's required to beat the episode 9. It's because by doing Prinny Land I leveled up a lot. The first battle features 9 powerful opponents that are incredibly strong, has insane life, defense and attack power. There's no way you can deal with this easily. Well, okay, I lied. They are not so strong, they will die very fast if you have any decent area of effect attacks. Now, the second battle is slightly more tricky, because you have some green panels dividing the battlefield. And for now they don't have any effect, which means that all the enemies can just surround you at the very beginning of the battle. And there's a transparent geo symbol, which has the no entry effect. Therefore, immediately pick any character close to the geo symbol and throw it on the green panels. This way, all the enemy outside of this green, let's say green line, green circle as you want, they will not be able to attack you. This will give you the time and opportunity to kill the enemies inside, very close to your spawn location, and then you can deal with the remaining opponents as you like, either with long-range weapons, or you can destroy the geo symbol and deal with them on close combat. So once you have moved the geo symbol, you should focus on the enemies inside. I used Lahal to already start some long-range area of effect attacks on the remaining opponents. It's just because I have a very high level and I can speed up the battle with this. However, if you have just a regular level, if you haven't done Prinny Land yet, just focus on those 6 enemies inside the green circle.
Finish this! Be gone!
Now that most of the enemies inside the green circle are dead, I can just use my mages and, let's say, weaker characters in order to finish them. It's better to kill 3 of them rather than wounding 5 of them even for greater damage, just because you'll have less enemies hitting you back in their enemy turn. Now, after I kill everyone inside, I will just end my turn, but it is not the best option. What I didn't know is that those cat girls have an attack that can go through the green panels. Therefore, during their turn, they will still be able to move up and damage my character. If you don't want that to happen, just move your characters away from them. You can use the lift and throw option if you want. But anyway, now it's my turn, and I can either use some area of effect, long range, weapons, whatever I want, or just use La Halle. I mean, there's plenty of possibilities. If you survive the enemies inside the green circle, you have won the battle, and then it's just a matter of how fast you can clear the rest of it. As I have really high level, I can just stay close to them, use some abilities. If it's not the case for you, don't worry, you can just go back and use some magic, guns, whatever you have. And that will be all for this second battle.
Here I come. Out of my way. Ha! You're mine.
Now the third battle is technically slightly harder than the previous one because you are forced to face everyone at once, but you can use some strategy here. As you can see, you have some opponents that are standing close to red panels, and those red panels will give you a nice bonus, attack plus 50%, defense plus 50%. Basically you want to have characters standing on those red panels in order to kill as many pugilists as you can during your turn. You don't want to have any mage or cleric in this battle, and let's say at least not in the first turn, just because those pugilists will target them in higher priority and they would die fast. They still have a very good attack, so be careful with it. Instead you want to take advantage of those red panels as much as you can in order to deprive the opponent the opportunity to go there themselves. In this battle I am trying to use some area of effect attacks in order to speed up this battle. This is not mandatory. If you have let's say average level, your priority should be to deploy as many characters as you can on those red panels.
finish this! Be gone!
Now half of the battle is done. There are still some enemies remaining on the left part of the battlefield. Some of them are as weak as the character you just killed, but there are 3 black belts. Those are evolved versions of those pugilists, and they have more life, and more importantly they have much higher attack. Since those enemies are not moving until they are in range to attack you, you'll have to get closer to them. If you don't have a very high level, it's in your interest not to lure them all at once, just one by one would be a better option. For those black belts, since they have very low defense, what you want to do is to focus on one character at a time and make sure to combine several special attacks on him until he dies. And when that's the case, you can move up to the next targets. And make sure your clerics and mages are really in the back of the battlefield, not accessible to those enemies, they will one-shot them. So that will be all for commentaries for this battle.
I'll finish this! Be gone! Nimpu.
Now this battlefield is slightly different. It's almost entirely covered with green panels that have no effects on them. There's one empty panel on which there's a silent geo symbol. It's up to you if you want to use it to put on the green panels and silence all enemies. I wouldn't really bother with that, since those enemies are really vulnerable to physical attacks rather than spells. If you have survived the previous battles, even if you go full offensive on this one and just use your physical characters, this should be much easier than the previous battle. If you choose to use the silence option, you can still use Plum as a healer because she has this very powerful ability called Power of Love, and this will heal any nearby characters, and this is not considered as a spell, so you can have fun with that. Else, just use as usual your clerics on the back of the battlefield, and that should be enough. That will be all for the commentaries for this battle.
Here I come!
You're mine! I'll finish this! Be gone!
The fifth battle will be the last of the episode, so let's just make sure that you are fully healed because you are going to fight a boss and that you have read Etna's diary.
Prince, I'm going to the bathroom.
In this boss battle you are just facing two opponents. Gordon have slightly more HP but incredibly lower resistance, and this robot have a very strong defense, so be careful with that. I would recommend to rush Gordon on your first turn with whatever attacks you have. You can go physical, magical, whatever you have, just destroy his HP pool as fast as you can. When it comes to the robot, you will have to prefer magical attacks, just because he has very mediocre resistance and very high defense values. If you follow those simple advices and if you have survived so far, then this battle will be a breeze. It's probably one of the shortest episodes ever actually. Anyway, there's no need for any more commentaries for this battle.
Here I come!
Shazam! I'll finish this. Be gone.
And now the episode 9 is cleared. Thank you for watching and see you in the next video.